Hello fashion lovers, welcome to my channel. On today's tutorial, I'll be showing us how I made this beautiful kaftan bubu with just 1 yard 13 inches fabric. For my plus size client, if that's what you're interested to know how to do, please stay to the end of this video. Without wasting much of our time, let's move straight to today's business. With me here is this beautiful African print. Like I said, the material is limited, but we'll have to manage it. I'm going to be folding into 4 folds because I'll be cutting the back and the front together. I'll fold my material into 2 equal parts and I'll fold again, making it 4 folds. On the tip of this fabric, I'll come down by 1 inch to mark my start line and I'll roll across the 1 inch. I'll mark the length of the bubu I'm making. The actual length of this bubu is 48 and we all know that Ankara is by 45. And I've minus 1 inch for my start line, so all I have left is 44.5 inches. So to complete the desired length that my client wanted, I'll be adding an extension. I'll be using another material to add an extension to it to complete the inches she wanted. I will mark out my neckline of 3.5 inches. Mark my shoulder divided by 2. The shoulder I'm working with is 18 inches. 18 divided by 2 is 9 inches. So I just marked out the 9 inches. Then I'll mark out my sleeve length. This is a cut together bubu. So what I have here is very small. It's not up to the length my client wanted. So I'm going to also add an extension to the sleeve. On the length of my sleeve, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches for my shoulder slant. And I'll connect it back to my neckline. Like so. The next thing I'll be doing is to mark out my sleeve opening of 10 inches plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. I will measure the inches I have from my shoulder to my sleeve opening and I'll mark same thing on the other side. And automatically it has become my chest line. I'll roll across it like so. When I'm done, I'll go back to my neckline and I'll mark my back neck depth of 1 inch and I'll connect with a curve like so. I will also mark a front neck depth of 7.5 inches and I'm going to be connecting in a V shape. When I'm done, I'll move to my chest line to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 plus 3 or 4 inches when making a bubu. But because I have a limited fabric, I'll be adding 2.5 inches for both ease and sewing allowance. I will measure the inches I have here and I will extend all through to the hem of the dress. Then I'll connect all my dots with a straight line, as you can see me doing. When I'm done, I will also cover out my armhole like so. And that is basically it on the drafting. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out all my markings. I will start by cutting out the rough edges at the hem. I'll cut the side and also the sleeve opening. I will also cut out my back neck depth, my shoulder slope of 1.5 inches. And I'll take out my back piece before cutting out my front neck depth. I've gone ahead to attach extension to the hem to make up for the length of the bubu I'm making. So I think I am having 48 inches right now. I will also be using these ones for my sleeve extension. I told you I will also be extending the sleeve, so I'll be using this for the sleeve extension. The next thing I'll be doing is also to cut out facing for the neckline, both for the front piece and the back piece, and I'll be using this particular material for the front neck piece. So on fold I'm having about 7 inches in width, then in length it is 17 inches. The next thing I'll be doing is to place my front piece on the facing like so that I'll be able to cut out the exact neckline I have on it. I'm trying to arrange properly to ensure that everything falls in place. So I'm going to be cutting out exact neckline I have on the facing. So I'll cut out my neckline and I'll also cut out my shoulder slope. So the next thing is to determine the wideness of the facing, how wide I want my facing to be. So from this point at the shoulder, I'll go out by 2.5 inches and I'll mark like so. When I'm done, I'll move to where my V neckline stopped. At this exact place I am pointing, I will also go out by 4.5 inches and indicate with a dot. With my curve rule, I'll be connecting from my 2.5 inches to my 4.5 inches. Please pay attention to how I'm placing my curve rule, so when doing yours, you get it right. When I'm done connecting the two dots together, I'll head to the hem of this facing. I'll come out by 5 inches and I'll roll a line across it. So for my 4.5 inches, I will also connect with the curve rule to meet my 5 inches I came up with. From my 5 inches I came up with, I will also connect with my curve rule to meet the hem of this facing at the center fold. Very important to note how I'm placing my curve rule to be able to achieve same results. The next thing is to cut it out. I'll head to the ironing table to hem the edges of this facing so that it will be very easy for me to fix on the dress. I'm going to use my hemming gun to iron down 1/2 inch all through the tip of this facing. Like I said before, hemming down with a hemming gun will make work very easy for me when I'm attaching it to the dress. I don't have to stress myself that much, just attach straight away. If you've watched up to this point and you've not subscribed to our channel, please do wait to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below to encourage us, and also turn on your notification bell to get notified anytime we upload a new video. What is a bubu without pockets? So the next thing I'll be doing is to cut out pockets for the bubu, and because of the texture of this material, I will be using a pattern paper to cut, because I tried, as you can see, I've been trying to see if I can cut it directly on the fabric and it's not being stable. So I'm going to be using a pattern paper to cut, and I'll place on the fabric and cut the exact thing I have on the pattern paper. So my pattern paper, I'll mark at 8 inches for my pocket opening. Now I'll place my palm on the pattern paper like so and just mark it out. That is just basically it. There's nothing difficult in marking out the pocket. Just place your palm and make sure it's being spread like so, and just mark it out and cut out. That is it in cutting out pockets for bubu, so for inner pocket most especially. So I'll be placing on my fabric to cut out exact thing I have on the pattern paper. So as you can see, it's now very easy for me to trace it out on the fabric. We're going to be having 4 pieces of the pockets, 2 for each side. We'll also be cutting out facing for the back piece of this kaftan bubu. And to do that, just place your back piece on the facing like so, and cut out the exact thing you have on the neckline and also the shoulder slope. When I'm done, I'll mark out 33 inches all through the facing. That is how wide I want the facing to be. The next thing is to head to the machine to turn our necklines with the facing. Because I want the facing to be at the right side of the dress, I'll be placing it like so, the wrong side of the dress facing the right side of the facing. I'll pin it down and run a stitch following the direction of my finger. When I'm done, I'll give it a good notch all around so that it will relax well when I flip it over. I will also head to the ironing table to give it a good press. and top stitch following the direction of my finger. I'll top stitch all around. Before then, I'm going to pin the mid center of the facing on the mid center of the dress. I will pin all around to ensure that everything is in place. Then I'll top stitch. I will also turn the neckline of my back piece with the facing. I'll be placing it right side facing right side, so by the time I am done sewing and notch, I'll flip to the wrong side. The back piece facing will be going to the wrong side. I don't want it to appear at the front side, so I will knot thoroughly and also top stitch and make sure I flip the stitching allowance to the facing and I'll top stitch on it. Head to my ironing table to give it a good press. So the next thing I'll do is to mark out where I'll be attaching my pocket. So from my armhole cover, I'll come down by 8 inches, and that is where I will start attaching my pocket from. I'll be placing my pocket like so, right side facing right side. I'll pin down and head to the machine to run a stitch with 1/2 inch to the end where my pocket stopped. I will do same to the other 3 sides. You know the pocket is supposed to be 4 pieces, so I'm going to be attaching the 3 of those other 3 sides like so, and go close up the sides of my dress. I'll be placing my 2 piece like so, right side facing right side. Join them at the shoulders and also close up the sides. Done. Our dress is ready. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, comment, share for others to see and learn too. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, please do well to do so, and also turn on your notification bell to get notified anytime we upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you in my next video.